But what really just made this chef's kiss for me was when the Nova Scotia government created an exemption for First Nations. So, going for a hike in the forest, going fishing, these things could inadvertently start a forest fire. But if you happen to belong to a First Nation, then the risk might not be so great. I don't know. Is this the difference? I'm going to get in trouble on this one. Is this the difference between an Indian fire and a white man fire?
I don't know where to go with the answer with that one. But I mean, they're inviting this kind of discussion because the absurdity of this. They're just getting so bold and blatant and showing that this has absolutely nothing to do with the fire risk.
What's it about? Yeah. What is it about then? I don't understand, because it's clearly not a fire risk. About fire risk. It's
control. I mean, I brought many safety guys to tears during my 20 years in the oil field. As you know,
you were the safety guy?
No, I was the surveyor who defied the safety guy who fought with the safety guy who would battle with him. I like smart safety policies. I like to see the guy who shows up in his pickup truck drunk fired. I like to see the guy who's blasting down the cut line on a quad with no helmet on and jumping off the stumps disciplined. I don't like the twits and morons, though, who start imposing stuff where there really wasn't a risk to begin with. Like, for example, they started with ATV bans of the woods and things like that, chainsaws. Okay, those are hot items that could start a fire, and there could be a problem. No problem. But when you start to ban hikers, that safety guys gone wild, where they just go to the length of the absurd. And then it also shows that they tend to be also the ones who are woke to the max as well. Well, oh dear, we've got a First Nations play that's coming up, and they're going to be very upset if we cancel this. If it had been any other play, or heaven forbid, a Christian singer.
It is Shakespeare, actually.
Yes,
that's a
separate discussion. It was an indigenous interpretation of Shakespeare, which I think is cultural appropriation.
It is, and
in the extreme.
Which I think most of us don't mind or care, but it is. The irony is hilarious, though. And they're just scared of canceling that to upset them. It's that bizarre double standard. There's no race less likely to light a fire than another. Or if we wanted to dig down into some stats, we might find some stuff they really don't want to find out.
Oh, we're going to have to cap our spiciness right there.
Yeah. But it's just bureaucrats gone wild, and they've got the authority. They enjoy using it, and it's ridiculous. And I'm glad this happened with this, because it exposed just how stupid it is.
One more thing about that story. There is now a snitch line.
Oh, yes. Yep.
Now, snitch line, that takes us back to COVID.
Yep.
And
we were Bernanke's here. And
to your point about control, there is the thing that locks that into place. It's when governments don't have any imagination, then they start restricting people. It's simplistic. They won't do the hard work of enforcement, and it is hard work. Yeah, but they want you to become a partner with them in enforcement. It's not the way to build a society. I'm just amazed that people will even tolerate it for a moment.
Well, and real safety is difficult, but bans are easy.
Yeah.
But it's funny, they, most often, at least we could do a bit of a cost benefit. I mean, how many children die in swimming pools every year across the country? A handful. Mm-hmm. If we wanted to reduce it to zero, there's only one way. You'd have to ban every swimming pool.
Yeah. You can make reasonable mitigations like lifeguards.
Fencing around the pools, training, lots of things.
Trade-offs.
But we have accepted that as it sits right now, a number of children are going to die in those swimming pools. To be honest, I won't be shocked if it gets to a point where they start banning the bloody things. If you're going to ban people from walking in the woods, because that's the only way they think they can reduce the human ability to light a fire to zero, as ridiculous as that sounded 10 years ago, today apparently it's just a shrug of the shoulders.
Well, I mean, it'd be the same with the only way to eliminate auto accidents is to ban
cars. Yeah,
we've decided that is not reasonable. Now, there's things we can do to mitigate things, but people are still dying every single day in auto crashes. I think this kind of government overreach actually creates danger. I remember saying during COVID that I hope to God we don't actually get the big one. Like if we got a real, like one of these movies where it's like it's the Black Death, and it's a genuine crisis. I mean, a restriction of your freedoms can, in some circumstances, be justified if the trade-offs are appropriate, if you're not going intentionally too far, there is a circumstance under which lockdowns could make sense, theoretically. But the abuse of government power by virtually nearly every government around the world, and especially in Canada, during COVID, made sure that it destroyed our trust in institutions. It destroyed social trust to the point where if we got the big one, if we got, Black Plague coming, so many people, if it happens within, I think, 15 years of COVID here, people are going to say, you got us last time.
Yeah, we've been through this. I'm not going.
Yes. Yeah. People will not follow reasonable recommendations or reasonable restrictions. You do have to curtail some activities during a high risk of forest fire. Like I ride my quad every single day around my own land here. But if we were under a fire watch, I understand that, okay, maybe that could create a grass fire on my land.
Yeah, you got a manifold outside, tall, dry grass. Okay, we'll wait.
It can happen. It doesn't happen a lot, but it happens. That would be a reasonable restriction. But if the government's if the government's going around banning me from hiking or fishing, clearly things that have no impact whatsoever, I'm less likely to trust the more reasonable restriction that, hey, right now, you probably shouldn't ride your quad because it could cause a